very much to talk about. I had, my first shock was like a week, maybe not a week after surgery. I was getting a shower and the thing went off, and the defibrillator went off, and I thought, am I dying? You know, everything go through your mind from the time you're born until that moment, because I thought I was dying. And then I was frightful from then on, but of course I did get baths. I didn't get showers too much from that. And then I had other experiences with getting showers after then, and forgetting that the hot water run on the, flow over it, and it throws it out of sync, and it makes me short of breath. And I had to call 911 once. I had to call 911, and I was ready to write a note, let everybody know what happened, but that's just about the gist of it. I just have to be very, very careful, in getting a bath or a shower, not to let the water be too cold or too hot in rinsing.
And I'm not sure why that is.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I don't know why that is.
I don't know
Usually
if
it
the water
should-
had anything to do with it.
Yeah.
But I had gotten some literature from maybe from the doctor's office, to be careful not to let the hot water be too hot nor too cold, and pour it over it. I didn't do it just experience it to see if it happened.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of,
But I'm very careful.
And how long have you had your device for?
For 602. April 12.
Just that one time you got the shot?
Just one time. That's it.
Did you have
Hopefully
a
it
second
doesn't-
device, or is it the same old?
Oh, this is the third
Third.
one. I just had the third one, I think it was in May that I had it. This is the third one. And that's why I love.
And I can relate to what you're saying, because when I do shots, I do get shortness as well. And if you turn your back, and you finish up that way, you're better. But if you go to the front to rinse, you do get shortness of breath. And I don't know whether it's because you're using your body and your pulse rate's going up, and that increases it just a multiple of a factor. And what you have said about shortness of breath, I've experienced. I've had that. And I've actually literally, we have a seat in the shower. I've literally sat on the seat and shut the shower on.
do you take hot showers? Is it really hot, or is it?
It's
curious.
warm. It's just warm. It's not scalding hot, but it's warm. But I'll just sit there until, I guess, my wind comes back and I finish. And I notice it more when I wash my hair. When I lift the arms, you notice it more.
Except anything over your head is more exertional, so,
And you do get that shortness of breath. You're gasping for air.
huh. I might have to look into that.
I did.
Jason, what'd you come up with?
And your position. And basically, they said it is the exertion that you're doing.
Is it just after you had your ICD implanted, or
Oh yeah. And I have.
when you had the,
This is my second, and both of them was the same way.
This is my third, and I'm not gonna try to see it.
Well, and they pulled all my leads out, and they pulled everything out of me too, on the first one. Because I tore the lead out of here. And that was, you don't want to do that. That is,
Did you have a lot of shocks on that? I can't remember.
yeah,
Yeah.
I had many shots. Well, can I tell you? I'll tell
Sure.
you. I'll-
Wayne's got a lot of good
I got a
stories.
lot of stories. These guys, they get really sick of seeing me. And especially 911, they kind of, I've had the same paramedics come in a couple of times. Yeah, but the, one time, I mean, literally, I used to, in Franklin, they used to be pretty athletic. And I wanted to do a lot of things. And one time, I was walking relatively fast after having my first ICD put in. And it was like 4:30 in the morning, so I had to go to work. So I go a good distance. I go 6-7 miles. And I was walking up the hill, and there's nothing in the area, and it hit me 8 times. Okay, and I had to climb over a yard hill to try to get help. And finally, and they thought I was drunk. And they found me coming and got me. And, it's one of those incidents that occurred. I had another incident where I basically, and this is 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, I was sitting, you measured it, and I was sitting in my office. I was just working on the computer, just working on the computer, and I felt fine. But he comes back with a report that says, your heart has been racing for 8 hours. And I got hit 4 times. And that's the first time, though, that I've ever turned purple and basically become paralyzed. And I was fortunate enough that the phone was there, that I was able to knock the phone off the desk without 911 to get help. And I'll give you a third story now, because I got a lot of stories. But the third story is I actually literally blacked out while I was driving. And I hit a truck, I hit a 4-foot wall, I hit a telephone pole and knocked it down. They used the jaws of life to bring me out. And all I had wrong was I had a brush burn there from the airplane. So, if anything, if it teaches you anything, wear your seatbelt. Because they told me if it wasn't my seatbelt, I'd get through the windshield. And it totaled the truck. I mean, it broke the frame, it broke the axle, it just broke.
It was the malfunction of the ICD that you blacked out?
And it was the variations of medicines with the ICD and everything that occurred. And it happened up in Fairfield, and the policeman, he came to the hospital, and he says, God's on your side. Because I don't know how you survived it. And all I remember was they were dragging me out of the truck. And I just remember the barn there, and that was it. But I then,
I don't know, you're depressing me.
well, no.
Well, and I think people have to understand
Yeah.
too, that not everybody gets a defibrillator everybody gets a defibrillator for sudden cardiac death. Some people have different
Yeah.
issues that perhaps cause them to have more arrhythmias than others. Sometimes we plant devices for prevention so that we know that your heart function is not good, you're at risk for having sudden cardiac death. So we put a device in, we put a defibrillator in. There are some people who already have arrhythmias or they have genetic disorders that predispose them to having a lot of arrhythmias. And, I think as far as devices go, we really try to do things to prevent people from getting therapy from their device, prevent people from getting shocked. You know, we have ways to program these devices so that you get pace terminated out of an arrhythmia first, like you felt today, or, you know, before you ever get therapy. And those are the things that we try and do. You know, if we see somebody, and I speak for, you know, EPs across town, you know, if you see people starting to get more and more therapy, then you start with medications. You know, medications aren't without risk. But, you know, the whole point is if you get a defibrillator, we really don't ever want you to get therapy from it. Unfortunately, for some people, it does happen. But fortunately, it does happen because not only do seatbelts save your lives, but your defibrillator saved your life too, many, many times. So,
Many.
I think that's really important to kind of get across because, you know, we get these devices to protect you and keep you from dying, and they do that. Not that there aren't issues from time to time and you know, various things that can happen, but most of the time, they're there to protect you and save your life. And we don't see, it just happens, I think we have 2 people tonight who have had issues with leads on their device that have had to be fixed or replaced, and so I think that, you know, that's not usually the majority, it's more of a minority.
And I caught that lead problem, because she knows, I was,
You know, if Wayne does, say he's gonna do sit-ups, you know, I would think you do 15 minutes of sit-ups. No. No. Probably 500, 5,000. Like, I'm gonna go walking, not a mile, 2 miles, 7 miles, 8 miles. So that's,
well, but I will clarify something. Frankie brought up a good point. Mine is genetic. Mine is a genetic disorder, so I was born with this from the get. So it's mine's a unique circumstance because we did do genetic testing, we did do a lot of different things, and it is very, very unique. But there is one thing, and I'll go back to the exercise. We have a treadmill. We did have a treadmill. And because I do go to a psychiatrist because I really do. There are times at night I have severe nightmares of what's going on with me and how my life has changed. But I used to go on the treadmill just to walk. And every time I got on that treadmill, and I was monitoring it, I would get it every time. And there was one time where I got hit so many times, it knocked me back. I fell on the ground, and when I stood up and touched the treadmill, it hit me again. So we got rid of the treadmill. And I didn't care about how much. It was like, you want it, you carry it out here, you get out, you can have it.